Hey everybody, this is TJR. This evening I went to a local Barnes & Noble store and I came across this book here called Murder Ballads. And it was kind of intriguing, the concept behind it. A meditation on music, race, obsession, and how far someone will go to see their vision become real. I'm not going to get too much into the plot here, but the synopsis of the plot really intrigued me. And the album even comes with a soundtrack. There's a download card for the music that is part of the story of this book here. And so, I picked it up, and this got me thinking about the fact that Barnes & Noble, of course, is in trouble right now. And, we could lose them. I can't help but think that this might be bad for music. Now, personally, I like going to Barnes & Noble. I find it very relaxing to browse there. I like checking out the books, the graphic novels. I also like checking out the music releases and the DVD releases. And also, Barnes & Noble has a very large, vinyl section too. In fact, probably larger than their CD section. And, that to me is really a valuable thing coming from a national chain store. I don't know of any other national chain store that has that big of a commitment to vinyl and having that large of a selection as well. Plus, when it comes to movies, they always carry a very large selection of the Criterion Collection, which, if you're a film buff, is really, an essential thing. I don't know of too many of the stores that really carry that large of a selection. And once again, we're talking a national chain store. If you appreciate books, if you appreciate movies, if you appreciate music, and you appreciate having it in a physical form, losing a major chain like Barnes & Noble, I think, would be really, really, really unfortunate. I also like just hanging out in the store. I like the cafe. The fact that they have, the cafe there as well. It's not quite Starbucks. They do serve Starbucks there, but they do serve things that Starbucks doesn't serve. The unfortunate thing, though, about going to Barnes & Noble is that a lot of people, I think, treat it like it's a library. I see people grabbing tons of books and magazines. They sit in the cafe and they go through all these books. They sit there and read. And they buy a drink at the cafe, but they don't probably, a lot of them I don't think buy anything. They just look through stuff, and then they leave it there on the table for the staff to have to pick up. And I remember, we used to have Borders books and music, and I enjoyed Borders for a lot of the same reasons, but people treated it like it was a library. And people just would sit in the aisles and block you from being able to really browse. And they just sit there in the aisles and just read things and and the staff did nothing, to discourage this in any way, shape, or form. And Barnes & Noble has started becoming like that. Now, I'm not talking about people sitting in the chairs that they set up for you to sit down in. I'm talking about people plopping themselves in the middle of the aisle, stretching their legs across, and basically they are blocking you from being able to browse a section if you want to browse that section because they're in the way. And you have to ask them, can you please move? I want to check something out here. And they look at you like you're somehow the bad guy. And the staff does nothing to discourage this, and I think they should. This evening, there was someone inside of the Barnes & Nobles with their dog. It was not a seeing eye dog. It was just their dog, their family dog. And the dog was just in there. And no one in the store was doing anything to keep them from having a dog in the store. I guess maybe they're concerned about, pissing off potential customers. But I think that there should be certain levels of behavior that shouldn't be tolerated. And like I said, sitting in the middle of the aisles, plopping yourself down like that, I think that's counterproductive to your business, because then people who want to shop and look at other books can't do that because there's people lying around in the aisles, that sort of thing. So I think they should set certain rules and try and enforce them and that sort of thing. I think that would be more productive to their business. But once again, that being said, overall, I enjoy the experience of going to Barnes & Noble. I find it very relaxing. It clears my head. I like sitting in the cafe. They do have the Wi-Fi. I do sometimes sit in the cafe and have a drink or something, and sometimes I, sit on my iPad. But because I'm in there, I am going to check out, music releases and DVD releases, and different books. And, I think that having the cafe is a good idea because it does hopefully get people to look at stuff. They got to just stop people from treating it like it's a library in there. Now, some people say to me, hey, but they're a lot more expensive. And I think that when it comes to books always have a price tag, and they generally, like I said, on new releases, mark them down. Now, on CDs, I do see the point. Sometimes I think their CDs are overpriced, but once again, if you have a Barnes & Noble membership, you get a discount right there. And when you are a member of Barnes & Noble, they're always sending you coupons for further discounts. And you can combine the discounts with your Barnes & Noble discount. This book here was $25 with the Barnes & Noble discount and with the discount coupon they sent me, which was a 10% one. And sometimes they sent me 15, 20, 25%. But this one was 10% this particular week. The book was only $20 now. So that's a decent discount off the sticker price. And I don't think this is a new release. I just happened to come across it here. But oftentimes their books generally are discounted. And if you have a Barnes & Noble membership, they're going to give you a discount off of that. A lot of their DVDs and Blu-rays are discounted already. And then if you have the Barnes & Noble membership, you get the discount on top of that. Also, when you're a member, they oftentimes will send you additional mail-in coupons as well. And sometimes, like I said, the prices really start to become very, very reasonable and especially if you're a bargain hunter, which I am, of course. And then once again, there's the huge vinyl selection, and I think their vinyl is competitively priced with Amazon and other places. And then once again, if you sign up for their email list, get their coupons, have their membership, you walk away, getting pretty good deals, in my opinion. There was recently a CNN article, things that Barnes & Noble can do to save themselves. And one of the things that was suggested is that they get rid of CDs and DVDs. I realize that these are not as big of sellers as they used to be, but a bookstore dealing in physical books is attracting, a certain demographic that still likes physical media. Some people now just do digital books. Some people just do digital music. But I think that if you're a bookstore and you're dealing in physical media, you're attracting people who appreciate physical media, such as physical movies and physical music. So I hope that, Barnes & Noble would drop, the DVDs, the Blu-rays, the CDs, and certainly not the vinyl. In fact, I think if there's one they would keep, it would be the vinyl, because vinyl sales are keep getting better and better. Before Borders Books and Music went downhill, they used to have live music. I know because I used to play at a lot of Border stores. And they would pay you. Generally speaking, they would pay you, though, in a gift certificate. Sometimes a combination of gift certificate and cash, but mostly just a gift certificate. Now, I was fine with this because I was certainly going to use that. And Barnes & Noble could do exactly what Borders did, which is pay the musicians in merchandise with a gift certificate. This works out very good for the stores because, you got to figure if they pay an individual musician with a $75 or $100 gift certificate for merchandise there at the store, well, that's not even 50%. With their markdowns on the merchandise, that's maybe, $75 is maybe what? $25, I'm guessing maybe, or $30 maybe in their actual cost for the merchandise. You see what I'm saying? I think that works out good for the stores. And like I said, if you're a musician and, you're probably going to just use it anyways because you hopefully are into buying physical music, that sort of thing, and into books. There's plenty there for you to make it worth your while to play there. Where things went south with Borders is that they stopped paying the musicians. I remember when that happened, they said, we're no longer going to pay. Will you still come in here? I said, no, of course I'm not going to. I'm not going to come in there and play for free. I'm not going to work for free. And so what happened is the musicians that agreed to play for free, hate to say this, but they tended to be the worst. And I remember we would walk into Borders once they stopped paying, and the musicians playing there were terrible. They were awful. They drove people out of the stores. I know this because they drove me out of the store. They were so awful. Couldn't stand hearing them. So that would be the one lesson I think that Barnes & Noble should take from that, is that if you do start having live music, and it's got to be acoustic, of course. That's what they always did, was acoustic music. But if you are going to do it, you got to pay if you want to have good music that makes people want to stay in the store, keep listening, visit the cafe, keep shopping. Got to have good music, and you got to pay for that. And since you are, like I said, are a merchandise store, you can pay the musicians in merchandise. It works out great for you. And I think it works out good for the musicians. Just make sure that it's an equitable amount for the time you're asking them to play. Recently it was announced that Best Buy was going to stop carrying CDs. So that leaves, without Barnes & Noble, that leaves basically Walmart and Target, who carry very small selections of CDs. They carry tons of movies. People are, I think, that's what I don't understand about ditching the movies. I think people still buy movies, but they carry very little when it comes to actual physical music. And so I think we'd really be losing something if we lost Barnes & Noble. I think they're one of the last major chain retailers that carry, a decent size, if not really good size selection of physical music that you can buy, both CDs and vinyl records. So what do you think of all this? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think I'm nuts? Do you shop at Barnes & Noble? Do you enjoy it? Let me know what you think of all this. This is just something that was floating around in my head. And I'm going to sit down and read this book called Murder Ballads, graphic novel. And I'm going to listen to the soundtrack too. And who knows, I might be doing a review of this book very soon. We'll see. Anyways, let me know what you think of all this. Like I said, this just popped in my head tonight as I shop through Barnes & Noble. Like I said, hate to see them go. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.